Oh yeah, it's Friday. We're back at it. My name is Arthur Raw. I'm coming in clutch as the master of ceremony on this episode. I'll be your MC. I'll be running the board. You know that we have a fantastic episode for you today. Super excited. I cannot believe how fast October is going by right now. But I got to introduce a very good friend of mine, Kevin, Mr. Baritone Batstone.
And happy Friday, America. Good to see everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. It's Halloween season. The weather's cooling off this weekend here in Denver. We're going to get a little bit of frost on the pumpkin, guys. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched any Halloween stuff yet.
Okay. You know, I did watch one spooky movie, and it was M. Night Shyamalan's The Signs movie, the Aliens one.
Was it good?
Have you never seen that?
I probably have.
Dude, creeped me out so much when I was a kid. It was
one of those creepy
ones.
ones.
Still really good. Okay. And it's a well-done movie. It's fun. I like it.
I'll keep that in mind.
Signs.
I'll keep that in mind. We're less than 2 weeks away, Art, from Halloween. It's coming quick.
It's coming quick. You know, either you're putting on the slutty, sexy outfits. Maybe you're looking like a dapper gentleman. I don't know. Are you going to do any Halloween dressing? Well, we'll talk more Halloween next week, right?
Next week's going to be our Halloween themed.
Okay. All right. So we'll pump the brakes on the Halloween talk right now. Let's dive right into today in history. So October 18th in history. Look, when I see angel numbers, it brings my eye there. So I saw something happen in 1919. That's Belvin Maynard wins the first transcontinental air race. This is actually pretty epic. So this guy wins this air race. It was a round trip. It took 9 days, 4 hours, 25 minutes, and 12 seconds. And here's the crazy thing about this, man. 9 people lost their lives while in this race, and there was a total of 54 crashes or forced landings. First intercontinental air race.
That's pretty intense,
That's epic in 1919.
I'm going to have to do more research on this on my own time.
Yeah, that seems like you can make a whole movie off that.
Yeah, biopic, yeah.
And seeing the crazy people, you're rooting for people in the movie, and then they crash and die, and you're like, shit, I cannot believe he actually
That's an intense race.
Yeah, so that would be a good movie. That's in 1919. Moving forward to 1962, we have some Nobel Prize winners here, one from the United States and 2 from the UK. We got James Watson from the USA, Francis Crick, and then Maurice Wilkins from the UK. They won the Nobel Prize for actually determining the structure of DNA. So we didn't know about that until 1962, the structure of DNA. Pretty close in the future here, Walt Disney animated the music adaptation of The Jungle Book in 1967. And I can't believe that animation was in 1967. I've watched it recently. It's still so good. They were just drawing and making animation movies different back then.
They were a lot different.
They stand up today still.
They still stand up. I would agree with that. That's why everything's being redone, because they can't do shit as good as it used to be.
Yeah, if it was a good movie, guarantee you there's going to be a remake. And then going all the way 100 years from where we started. So we started in 1919. We're ending this in 2019. First female-only spacewalk by NASA astronauts. Christina, Koch, and Jessica Meir outside of the International Space Station. Good job, ladies. That is today in history.
Coming in clutch with some juice this week on Today in History.
We are. And this episode, we kind of got some sciencey stuff. We have some fun stuff here. And you're going to start it off with, this might be a world record for a lost pet.
This is a pretty crazy story. And I always am blown away by the power of the tortoise.
Okay.
Turtles are just an amazing creature. And in fact, I believe you kind of identify as that being your land animal.
Yes.
So I thought of that when I read this article. Take
Turtle.
a look, folks. Definitely scroll down and read this thing, but I'm going to tell you the basics of it. A pet went missing 30 years ago, Art. They had signs, pictures. People were like, it's gone. We lost our turtle.
Okay.
Our tortoise is gone. They found it 30 years later in the attic, still alive. It lived the whole time. Apparently, they named the thing Manuela. This took place down in Rio.
Okay.
This is the location of this tortoise. So the reason I think that's important is this isn't sitting in an attic in New England. For all my New England people, you know what the attics are like up there. They're not
freezing.
insulated.
It's hot.
It's cold. It's no good. I imagine it gets pretty hot in Rio as well. But Manuela managed to survive 30 years in this attic. That's just crazy to me that they didn't. I'm sure people went up there, but they didn't see the animal. Apparently, it had built a little burrow in an old speaker box.
Okay.
And was living off of probably some of the critters, mice, things of that nature that get into the attic. But The crazy
Maybe
thing
some of
is,
the bugs and stuff.
yeah, these animals can live, tortoises, up to 255 years.
That's crazy.
In some cases. And they can go a tremendous period of time without eating. That's what's crazy to me is how long they can go.
How long is a tremendous period?
I mean, I've heard upwards of 2 to 3 years.
Really?
Without food. For
So
some
they
of
just
these
kind of get
tortoises.
into like similar to alligators, where they get into like this slowed state where their heartbeat really slows down.
Yeah. I think same with a
everything.
lot of other reptiles, right? Like snakes and you mentioned alligators. I think they're all they all have that same ability to go long periods of time without eating and
30
survive.
years?
Now, I'm not saying he didn't eat for 30 years. Like he was
No,
probably
but
munching
30
on.
years up in the attic.
It's crazy. And they finally go up there and like, what is this? They're like, oh, there's Manuela from 30 years ago. It's still alive.
Probably didn't age a day.
Probably didn't age a day.
Wasn't getting that much sunshine, so no light pollution.
What a
or like burning the leather.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, what'd they do? I don't know if they brought it back down into the house. I'm sure they didn't leave it in the attic, but this animal now, who, really probably hasn't really even seen much daylight. Let's be honest. Attics don't get a ton of daylight. So this animal is like, wow, I'm back to that world that existed.
Other world.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, this is why the tortoise is like my land animal.
I thought of
they
that.
take it slow, they're sturdy, they're reliable, and they can get it done, man.
I thought
you
and that's
get it
why
done.
that was my feature article this week, coming out of the gate strong with the tortoise.
I really like the tortoise, and I'm really happy that it was alive. How resilient. I think that's a great way to start this off. So we're going to kind of stay into animal kingdoms here, and one organism that has a whole kingdom after it is fungus and fungi. Like, it's a whole animal kingdom within itself. I know in the past I covered an article about how fungus communicates within the forest and can redistribute water and hydration and all this other stuff. So we're continuing to learn more about fungus and fungi in that whole animal kingdom. So can an organism without a brain still show signs of intelligence? Well, according to the Tohoku University, they have answered this question, and they're basically saying yes. Fungi can have memories. Fungus can learn. They can make decisions. Quite frankly, the differences in how they solve problems compared to humans is mind blowing. So they've done some experiments where they put a rotting piece of wood and in different structures, and how the fungus interacts with the rotting wood will actually save space and energy. So it can form in different ways. It can communicate in different ways. I did see a documentary. It wasn't in this article, but I did see a documentary one time about insects and stuff, and it was about how this fungus basically ruled an ant colony, and ants would bring food in for the fungus to eat, and the fungus helped keep this ant colony stable and stuff. And so fungus grows underneath the ground, and they do this through mycelia, I think is how it's pronounced. It's typical to a DNA strain or a synapsis in our brain. And so this is how fungus can actually pass information along, is through this mycelium network or something like that. And they can be as big as 900 hectares of ground. So that's about 2,000 acres.
That's huge.
Can be one organism. So I know that aspen trees are all connected. That's one of the biggest organisms on life, on this planet. Of life on this planet. I think that fungi is probably in the top 5 of largest organisms to exist.
It has to be.
And so there's all this information. It shares information among the forest. It has memories. It knows how to think. It does all these different things. So got me thinking could fungus be because if there's any life on other planets, it could potentially be a fungus type of thing.
Good, yeah.
Or
water,
a more simple type of thing.
Yeah.
So what if fungus is actually just alien? It came from another planet and it's an alien here on this planet. So I don't know. I don't really have a major conclusion on this, other than the fact that I just kind of found this article super interesting. It kind of went with the theme of stuff that I've talked about in the past, and how much we're learning just now. In 1967 we learned about, in 1962 we learned about the DNA strand, and now in 2024 going into 2025 we're starting to learn more about fungus and how fundamental it is for all life in the forests and stuff. It's crazy. It
really is. And kind of at the bottom of this article, it lists how this research specifically will better help understand how biotic ecosystems function. And the mass size of it alone mentioned here is just hard to comprehend. You think about
2,000 acres is
huge,
massive.
That's massive for just grass, crops, fields, whatever. So you put that in perspective of how big that is, and most of it being pretty mysterious here, according to this. They don't really know what's going on with it, what could be happening within the confinements of it underground in different places. Because when I picture fungus, I think about those mushrooms that grow around the base of a big tree. I'm like, oh, there's the fun guy, like the old dad joke. Why did everyone want the mushroom at the party? Because he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Right? But this is kind of cool. It's scratching the surface.
Yeah, this isn't the mushrooms. This is underneath the ground.
Right.
Like networks of fungus that can like communicate and like have memories and take different shapes.
Yeah.
And like help ant colonies and stuff.
It's amazing.
Like I saw these ants, they were literally like the fungus will change what kind of food it wants during the season too, and like so ants will hunt different type of stuff for the fungus, or if it has a favorite plant, then they'll just go get that plant.
It's amazing that the ants are like working with it and for it.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
I forget how it was benefiting the ants, but like it was.
It's amazing.
It was. It's crazy. So that's some fun news about fungus here on Happy Friday. Next, what we're doing is jumping into the classic Kev's random records, and all I got to say is this guy's going to need new carpet or something on his staircase.
Yes, this is pretty interesting. At first glance, I read it as the man broke the record for the fastest time to ascend and descend the height of Mount Everest.
Okay.
So that's how the record reads, and you go, wow. This man summited Everest, came back down, quick as, ever been done. Not the case. But what he did do is he completed what I just said, went up to 29,000 feet in elevation and came back down on a staircase.
Okay.
Now, think about, just immediately my quads start hurting thinking about what that's going to do to your legs going up that many stairs. It took him 23 hours.
Okay.
Almost a full day to do this. Like I said, Everest sits at 29,031 feet. And so to do that on a staircase, not only do you have to do some simple math and figure out how many times I'm going to have to do this, 23 hours, man. I mean, if you miss a beat, straight.
Oh, wow. And so technically he's like doing the ascend and descend at the same time because he's going up the stairs, and then that counts as the ascend, and then he's going down the stairs, and that counts as the descending.
Yeah, so basically, exactly. So every time he goes up, he's chipping away at that 29,000 and vice versa. It's like counting up and counting down each time he does it. And, man, that's not only a hell of a workout, but to put yourself in the record book for doing it. He streamed his attempt on YouTube, which I have not had a chance to watch yet, but it is in the link down below in the show notes. Pretty cool stuff.
That is pretty cool. I mean, that's like at a point where, you have put down the substances and you're probably just living a happy life, and you're like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the Himalayas.
I'll just do it in my house.
But I'm going to do it in my house, and I'm going to do it on my stairs. I wonder how many people have even attempted to do this in their own home or had thought about it before him.
Well, because I kind of wonder too. When I hear ascending and descending Everest, I'm not thinking about doing it in my house.
No.
Right? So he just thought of a way, okay, I'm going to take that same distance and convert it to my stairs.
23 hours.
Of constant up and down the stairs.
That'd
be like climbing your building, because you have the ability to go up and down rather, with so many flights. You'd have to do that for 23 hours. Up and down.
Dude, just even 5 minutes is like, it gives me a good winding.
You'd be pretty dizzy doing it on yours because it kind of goes round and round. I don't know if this guy just had one up, one down. I feel like that would be the best way to go.
That's how he was
run
doing
up, run down. Like not one of those staircases that curve or spiral.
Yeah.
You need one of those classic ones when you walk in the house and it's straight up, like the Home Alone house that he slides down on the outdoor winter slide. Up it, down it, count it.
Damn, up it, down and count it. He did it. That's crazy. 23 hours. How long does it take to ascend and descend Everest in real life?
Well, I know not certainly from experience, but I've watched a lot of guys that do it. Bear Grylls, of course, has done it. They set up base camp somewhere around 16,000 feet. Put that in perspective here in Colorado, folks. That's higher than any of our peaks. Yeah. That's where their base camp is. It's almost 2,000 feet higher than what we have here. And I think they just kind of gradually chip away at it. Weather conditions play a big factor into it. I would imagine
it could take days. Like
it does
2 or
take
3
days. Yeah, I mean, because you're not going up in a staircase. You're out there in the elements. You got 100-mile-an-hour winds. You got frostbite. You got to get warm.
Corpses
you got to
on
stop.
the trail.
You got to eat.
Yeah.
You're climbing on ice and shit. I mean, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, that is intense. I don't know if that's like I don't mind doing some peaks and stuff and doing some hiking, but I've never had the itch to go hike Everest.
I mean, that's experience hiking.
So would you rather, this is not the would you rather for the week, but would you rather do Everest or like try to go to the Marina Trench in like a submarine?
I would rather attempt Everest.
Yeah. Because I don't think we have a submarine that can do.
I don't know if I could currently.
That's not military.
I would need more conditioning to do Everest in my current state, and training, because you got to know a lot up there. You got to know oxygen ratios and how to preserve your body. There's things you need to know, but I would probably take Everest.
Yeah, that's definitely. If the sub was good to go, I would do the Marina Trench. As long as I could trust the equipment.
Submarines kind of freak me out, man. That pressurization after seeing that one implode and stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go down there.
There was always that's a discussion combustion type thing.
You can tell folks we didn't have one of those this week, so we're excited to chit chat.
Yeah, we are. We're having a good time. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a happy Friday as well. And with that being said, thank you everybody for always jumping on and participating in the weekly Would You Rather. I got a good one for this week, but of course we got to run through the recap of last week, and last week's was, are you giving up hot sauce or are you giving up barbecue sauce? What did America go with?
Well, I certainly been thinking about this one all week, and because we threw a couple what-if scenarios out there and the spicy barbecue.
We both stayed with barbecue. We both gave up hot sauce.
We both gave up the hot sauce, and the main catalyst there was because there was a spicy barbecue, so we'd still be getting that.
Yeah, we need that picante.
America, you're going to leave us undecided, 50-50.
Shut up.
50-50. We don't have a definitive winner unless we're going to consider us pushing it over the edge with the barbecue sauce.
We don't count.
America's split.
Damn. I was not expecting that.
It's a 50-50 result. I was kind of bummed, too. I wanted a definitive winner here.
Dude, that's a good would you rather.
It is a good would you
rather. That was a good one, then.
Yeah, because I guarantee if you go out and ask 10 people this question, you're going to get 50-50 results.
Shit. Well, thank you, everybody, for participating on the X page or in the comments on YouTube.
Yes.
Definitely appreciate that. This week's Would You Rather is a little bit more dark. It's a little bit more dark. I'll just say that.
Yes, and we to preface it, right, we do Would You Rathers to make them difficult, right? This isn't like anything we would personally want to do in our own time. The point of a Would You Rather, typically, I mean, we have the fun ones like the hot sauce and this and that, but these type of Would You Rathers are designed to get you thinking, get your critical thinking hat on.
I've made my decision on this. I've made mine.
I'm going to do it live action. I'm still not decided.
I've already made my decision.
All right, let's hear it.
You time travel back 10 years, okay? So that happens. You time travel back 10 years, and then you run into a situation where you either need to go to a Diddy party or you have to go to Epstein's Island. So you time travel back 10 years before all of the information was out about these two individuals. So
you don't really know what's going on.
You don't know what's going on. You have to go to a Diddy, but you do know because you time traveled.
Yeah, so you do know.
So you do know, but the world doesn't know. Yeah, exactly.
This is a tough one.
Exactly, and you're in a situation where you have to go to one or the other. Are you going to a Diddy party 10 years ago, or are you going to Epstein's Island 10 years ago? Which is it going to be, Kev?
It's a shit sandwich or a shit sandwich with mustard, right? I mean, there's so many pros and cons to both, and so you got to think of it like, which one would I, more likely be at as a casual, acquaintance of someone who invited me to this. I'm going to go check this out. There's going to be other people to network with. For me, that would be a Diddy party.
Okay.
Because, he was always having all the celebs, presidents, big money investors, you name it. Guys were hanging out, getting together. It was like a networking event is how it kind of felt, some of them. Because we're just talking about a Diddy party, not some of the after party shit, some of the crazy shit I've heard about.
I mean, could a Diddy party turn into a freak-off? They called it the freak-off, right?
Now, Epstein's Island, beautiful parts in the Virgin Islands, right? It just looks nice. You get the boats and it's pretty chill, but it's a known. Even at that time, I still think there was enough inside information that they knew that underage women.
And it's an island.
Yeah,
so you're kind of trapped.
Well, an island is surrounded entirely by water.
Yes.
So that was a throwback from something a few years ago. But we knew by then that there was some underage women activity going on Epstein's Island. A lot of big guys would go back and forth. So there's arguments to be made for both. It sucks, but I guess I'll be at a Diddy party as an acquaintance of somebody there trying to network.
Okay.
You're gonna take the island, aren't you?
What? No, I'm going Diddy party.
All right.
Okay, and I'm going Diddy party for a couple reasons. First of all, it's more than likely in Florida, in the Miami area. So, I'm still in the United States, so I can still leave if I want to. I'm not stuck on an island. Also, a lot of celebrities, not everybody was involved in bad things there. So, potentially you could just go and be innocent, and maybe not get taken advantage of. Or whatever.
At the Diddy party.
Yeah, at the Diddy party.
Same with Epstein.
So there's this either way, I'm going to the Diddy party. I'm meeting celebrities.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully I don't, get drugged and, get my career ruined or blackmailed in the future.
Well, and that's what's happening on both scenarios, right? Everyone that traveled to Epstein's Island had a flight log. They're now being screwed with that. Everyone that was ever even associated with Diddy is being under the microscope right now. So it's not a good situation, but that's a tough would you rather.
Yep. So where are you going, America? Travel back 10 years in time. The world doesn't know. You know the atrocities. Are you going to a Diddy party or are you going to Epstein's Island? Let us know on X or in the comments below. What we got next here, boy, oh boy, it's fecal matter.
Yes. Yeah, we're talking, thinking about a lot of animals this week. All right, I got my tortoise and now moving on to a hippopotamus.
Okay, what you got going with the hippo?
I've always thought the hippos are cool, man. They're one of my favorite exhibits at the zoo, and they're just a fun creature to watch. Now, I've never seen it do what I've seen on social media, where if a hippopotamus has a large amount of diarrhea accompanied by a fart, he'll get his tail going like a windmill, right? It starts whipping around, and it's essentially now propelling diarrhea and fecal matter with the fart and the tail. It like launches it, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like a little sprinkler system of poo
Okay.
coming out of this hippo. And apparently somebody got a really good angle of it. It was funny. People were like getting blasted in the face, and this thing went viral. It's got like 15.6 million views.
I did see
on
that
TikTok.
One. Yeah.
I've seen similar videos to it, from zoos in the past and seeing hippos do this type of stuff. But for whatever reason, this one took off. People are disgusted by it, but it's like, look, we're going to an exhibit. This was not out in the wild. This was not out just free roaming and running into hippos in Botswana on a river. You're in its world, and it's doing shitting, and you're getting covered. That's a risk you're going to take if you get around a hippo exhibit.
Yeah, and there is other reasons. Like they do this as like a sanitary thing, right? So they kind of like flip the tail back and forth to throw the poo far away to keep the flies away, and it kind of helps clean their asshole as well. Like that's what they do. And the people that are at this exhibit, like they're standing unreasonably close to the fucking fence. Like it's obvious that
they're in the poo zone.
Yeah, this animal is defecating and flailing its tail. Like it's obvious that fecal matter is getting thrown in the air. And honestly, I don't feel like in that video I saw people scurrying away. No, it was almost as if they were like standing there, like excited, as if it was like the water splash ride. Like, you know how people stand on the bridge
to get soaked.
Yeah, it's like almost like
they were asking
they
for
got
it.
They got locked into this fecal shower. And like I didn't see people running away. It's like they were just laughing, having fun, getting scatted.
blasted.
They were getting scatted.
Getting blasted by the hippo scat.
Yes.
It's a pretty funny video just for that. I mean, who's kidding who? Farts are kind of funny. They're always just going to be a little bit of a comedic side to it, and the way it does it, the way it sounds, and the way he's got his tail going as he's throwing his shit everywhere, it almost makes you want to be able to do that as a human.
And you can, and you just have to own it, but you got to be careful.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get that kind of distance as a human.
Oh no, only like Steve-O and the boys would do something like that back in the day.
Even yeah,
they
might get a couple feet.
Only they would be capable. But this does remind me of a video I saw today. It was of like a 90s wedding, and like this the new bride to be got dropped off from a horse carriage, and so she gets off there like playing acoustic wedding dun dun dun, dun, and then as the horse stops, it starts peeing and farting ridiculously, and it like farted.
I love that shit.
And it farted like no joke for like 45 seconds, like on and off, and like she's laughing as she's almost about to go down the aisle and stuff.
Horse farts are good.
It's an animal, This is what it's doing. Like it's a natural function.
Well, everyone always blames it on the dog, right? Oh, the dog farted. Everyone's trying to pawn it off on an animal.
Does it smell like dog food?
With the fart?
Yeah, or does it smell like human food?
Yeah, dog farts have a different odor to them. I feel like.
Like you can't trick me with that.
With a dog fart?
No, I'm gonna know if it's a human or a dog.
No, but the question is, have you had an audible like dog fart in your life where you're like, oh, the dog just ripped ass?
Not in person. Maybe once or twice in person.
I think it's happened a few times. I've definitely heard like a golden retriever do it. But yeah, animals are farting. They're defecating all over the place. If you're going to stand behind a hippopotamus within shitting distance, that's on you.
Yeah, that's on you. And what we're moving on to next is kind of another science-y article about redistributing the precious materials that we all have and use daily within our electronics and microchips and stuff like that. So as we all know, it's extremely hard to mine like the lithium, and there's only certain deposits on this planet, and it's definitely a resource that is extremely valuable. So what's going on here is this solid lad, Rob Lawson Shanks. He actually was a former tech hardware entrepreneur, and he refocused his talents to tackling a problem of electronic waste. And apparently, there's like 60 million tons of e-waste, I believe, annually. Okay, I don't know the time scale on that, but there's a lot of e-waste happening, electronic waste happening.
So what exactly is e-waste?
So like you throw away a computer,
so like a hard drive,
or like you throw away like a cell phone.
Would a lithium battery be considered
like
e-waste?
a lithium battery? Yeah, you're throwing that out. Like anything that was part of electronics that is now being disposed.
And usually has to be disposed in other areas. Interesting.
So they're not technically recycling this stuff. They do get the materials from a recycling plant, but basically what this Rob guy did is he created a robot that carefully, meticulously disassembles e-waste and salvages reusable, functionable parts within it, in which they can then reuse.
So it'd be like a refabricated piece of electronics.
Yes. And so it's like a robot. It's interesting because it's a robot that's disassembling electronics, and then we could reuse this stuff.
There's something concerning about that as well, though.
I mean, look, humans have a level of precision and intuition and stuff like that technology will never have.
No, that's true.
But as far as like mathematics and having a steady hand, the
robot's going to be dialed
as long as it's oiled and stuff. So this thing is going to be in different recycling plants. It's going to be about 10 feet by 3 feet by 10 feet tall. So it's designed to be able to fit in these e-waste processing facilities and not take up too much space. And also, while it disassembles, it also keeps data. It says what pieces it is salvaging. And so that way there's a whole catalog of every single thing that it's recovered from this e-waste, so then they can reuse it. And basically it's to, be more sustainable and to make things a little bit more simple. And also this guy not only is building these robots, but he's also partnering with companies like Dell and these big manufacturers of computers and electronics to design the electronics to actually be disassembled in an easier way.
Interesting.
So it's not quite as difficult. So we're doing some work on the front end, maybe changing the patterns and designs of the hardware, and then also we're working on having robots disassemble it. So really interesting article. I thought it was kind of cool. That's a robot I could stand behind with all this AI type stuff coming out.
Well, I mean, we've talked about robots a little bit on the show. We've highlighted Boston Dynamics and what they do.
And the new Tesla robot we haven't even touched yet.
We might get into that next week because there's some things that I've been listening to Elon talk about with that. It still kind of creeps me out. Everyone knows Terminator.
It's like iRobot. It's like
iRobot.
It's just like that.
It's it just when it becomes when it can teach itself things and adapt to situations, that's when it becomes concerning. I'm all for programming it to take apart e-waste, to have it, run an assembly line on a dock or something. That makes sense to me. But when it can start thinking for itself, that's when it gets concerning.
So here is where humans are really going to be fucked, is when we combine microchips with fungus.
Oh, man.
Right? Because like we're talking about the fungus article earlier and how it has like this...
I guess it's possible.
This ability to like think and adapt. And then so if you put like a fungus type of thing with electronics...
How would it respond?
And like how... That's going to be the human-made creation that will take over the planet.
You think we'll see that in our life?
I don't know.
I don't know if we'll see that.
I don't know.
The crossover between the fungi and the microchips.
Because then it would be an organic artificial creation.
I mean, we see what AI is doing now with some things that we have already exceeded what I thought I would see at points in my life. So anything is possible anymore. I'm not writing it off when it comes to this AI shit.
Yeah.
And what it's capable of getting involved in. It's in our healthcare. It's in our food. It's in everything now. Why wouldn't it be in fungi?
I mean, that's like some hella sci-fi shit.
It is.
With how all the fungus stuff, and then they combine it with the microchips. Like,
man,
that. Dude, we've talked about some really good movie ideas. Look, all you unoriginal people from Hollywood, tune in to Happy Friday America.
For movie ideas.
Make a movie about 1919, the first intercontinental air race. Make a movie about that. And then make a movie about a dystopian future where the fungi, artificial fungi intelligence has taken over the planet.
You would need a good script, though, because the wow factor, I think, is what's scurried everyone off. The special effects have gotten too good that now people need their minds blown. Yeah. And that might be a recipe to do it.
And you have so with the fungi one, like you can't let them know in the beginning that they like know of this organic machine that has taken over the planet, but they don't know what it is. And then they find out near the end of the movie that it was actually fungus infused microchips.
We're going to need James Cameron to take the lead on this. This is a project for him.
That'd be a good one.
I think he could pioneer it. Great article there, Art. Let's keep it moving to some health news here,
okay,
and some studies that came out this week. So this is a really, really juicy article. I would highly encourage folks go down and check this out. It's going to be the bottom of the show notes. Art, there was some good stuff in here that I think you would like to read too, but I just kind of highlighted a few of the talking points. And, everyone's always talking about living longer, how to expand your life. And there's the obvious shit that we know: quit smoking, quit drinking, eat more fruits, vegetables, blah, blah. We've heard all that for a long time.
Okay, so what you got then?
So one of the things, the big takeaway that we learned here in this study, or at least that I learned, was that they were unable to correlate weight loss with longevity. So in other words, folks that get healthy throughout life, they have got down to a healthier weight. That specifically did not add longevity in some of their tests on mice and things like that. What they found extends it, and this could come as a result, like you could lose weight as a result of limiting your calories to 60 or 80% of the baseline recommended. So the idea here is, the overall headline is, eating less calories, extend your life.
Oh.
That's basically what we're getting at here. That's what the study indicated. So by eating less calories, yes, naturally you're going to lose weight. But I'm talking about those crazy diets where people are dropping, the ketos and all, and the Weight Watchers and all these things. That specifically hasn't shown longevity in itself. It might reduce your heart risk. It lowers your cholesterol. It's going to do things that get you healthier. But the fact that you're still consuming, nuts, food, whatever it is, past a certain amount of calories, even if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, the big takeaway here is limiting your calories. So as you've done with your weight loss journey, and how I've done for a long time, intermittent fasting is a good way to do that.
It is
to lower your caloric intake.
Well, then it also shrinks your stomach. So then when you do eat, you get full fast because your stomach is smaller.
Sure. So there's a couple ways to do that, right? You can do it intermittently. 12, I think, to count as
14 to 16 hours is where you really start hitting those things. And like, I'll cheat where like I might have like a weed gummy in the morning, like that breaks that type of fast to where like your cells start to regenerate. So there are specific things that you need to do.
There is, and this is a topic that has been my entire life. They've been talking weight loss, caloric intake, what's healthy, what's not. We were told cow's milk was good. Now it's not. This is such a revolving door that's constantly changing. So I always take things with a grain of salt, and especially in the medical field. Take what you will from it. It's a great read. I mean, to me, it makes sense. The less calories you put in. I mean, I quit drinking alcohol, which was 1,200 calories a day.
Damn.
I have not replaced that per se with food. But I haven't really changed the way I eat, right? So I still have my small portion control. I still intermittent fast. I just now don't have the additional empty calories.
Yeah, which is definitely beneficial. So I will say that when I was a little bit more diligent on like always doing portion control and this and that and barely eating, like I actually ended up getting a lot of sustainable energy to where, like, if I eat more, I'm actually more lethargic.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Like, for sure. So, like, there is something about, like, this scarcity, and we can actually do a lot on a little.
Sure.
And I don't think that a lot of people adopt or recognize the benefits of how much our body is able to accomplish off of a little bit. Like, I'll be working out an hour and a half, like barely eating, and I'll be full of energy, like jumping into the podcast, doing this and that, like off almost like just a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree.
So if I eat more, I'm more lethargic, and I could see how this could expand life because, your body is not processing as much, like you're doing less damage on like your organs and like all this other, and like the processing.
Exactly. The digestion period, right? Because that does take a toll on your body. It just does. And so this kind of almost goes back to a little bit more of a primal approach, right? When you think about, people talk caveman times or whatever, paleo diet, that's all a thing. And I think that's a good thing. But at those times, you didn't know when your next meal was coming. You didn't have DoorDash, you didn't have those kinds of things. So you would maybe only eat, this rabbit for the week, and you'd make it last. You would ration it. Hence the 80% of your baseline caloric intake. Fasting for 2 days is some of the things that they highlight in this. That's what we used to do, primally. Now, some would argue, well, yeah, but those people didn't live long. Those were because of other factors. So great article. It gets people talking. Everyone thinks they have the right approach to weight loss and weight management, what to eat, what not to eat.
What it comes down to is like you do have to just challenge yourself. And to make change happen in your life, whether if it's with your diet or your weight, or you're trying to create a new hobby or fix a romantic relationship that's died off or whatever, like it's not going to be easy. It's a challenge, and you should feel uncomfortable sometimes going after these bigger goals within your life, because it shouldn't be easy. It should be a challenge. You have to make yourself uncomfortable to grow, and then after you've achieved it, then like you've overcome something where you had self-doubt. You've overcome something where you wanted to cheat and like have that piece of pizza, or you wanted to have a drink and then you didn't, and you stuck to your guns. Like that type of mental health also promotes physical health, I believe.
I would agree with that. It does start mentally, whatever it is. If you're going to be on a weight loss journey, if you're going to change the way you eat, cut out sugar, whatever you're doing, it all starts with the mental toughness piece, right? And then the physical will follow. But they have to be in sync, right? Your mind, body, and soul. The idea is to get it all in sync.
That's true. What a great article, man. This has been a banger of an episode already, but we got some cool shit to do this weekend, of course, to wrap this up. We got NOLA Fest in, of course, New Orleans, Louisiana. That's all weekend. They're going to have some beads. They're going to have some Mardi Gras type themed things. What a great city. I've been down there for Mardi Gras. Awesome people, a lot of love out there, and, of course, delicious food.
Great time in New Orleans. I've only been there once. I love that city. The Denver Broncos just played there last night. We're recording this as they're playing, so we don't know the results of that. But any of our Denver fans...
This is like 3 weeks in a row we've said something similar.
I know, right? Well, we usually record Thursday nights. Denver's in New Orleans right now playing, so that's a little fun. Miami Food and Wine's going on this weekend. Southern Glazers, as you know, company I represent, that's where they're headquartered. We had the Denver Food and Wine here last month. Now it's in Miami, which is as SGWS's headquarters. There'll be a lot of celebrities out there this weekend. I hear Mark Wahlberg.
Maybe some people that have been to a Diddy party.
Oh, well, I can't confirm or deny who's going to be there, who isn't, but there's a lot of celebrity involvement in brands.
Yeah.
And some of those celebrities probably did know Diddy a time or two.
Yes, they probably attended one of those white Diddy freak-off sessions. But if you're in Portland, Oregon, you could check out the Portland Film Festival. Now, there's going to be a lot of indie films out there, and that's a really creative, artsy area of the country. Like, if you've been out there, I've never been. It's super cool. And when it's rained 60% of the year, you're definitely inside doing some creative stuff. So that's going to be a great film festival.
Yeah, I bet it will. I've never been to the one here in Denver either. The Denver Film Festival is big. Our former co-host from Happy Friday Denver, John, would spend a lot of time down there interviewing people and getting involved. It looks like a lot of fun. Maybe at the Portland Film Festival, they can talk about some of the movie ideas that we pitched them during the show.
Those were some good movie ideas.
They were some good movie ideas. I know we're running short on time, but NASCAR, we are in Las Vegas this week. Crazy stuff. We're down to 8 guys. Denny Hamlin's still alive. If you listen to Mash the Gas this week, we have some exciting stuff coming over there. The playoffs are heating up. We got 3 races to get to Phoenix. It's getting intense. Joey Logano in, Alex Bowman out because he was too heavy. Incredible. If you're in Vegas, the weather's great out there. Go check out this playoff race. We're done. We're getting out of here. Check us out on all social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, at Happy Friday USA, Twitter X, where you can take the polls, the would you rathers, the fun things that we got going on over there, at Happy Fry USA. Let's get it going. Fricashinas. Let's rock in.